Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of the Black Wolf Rebel Show. And this is our Wealthy Wednesday selection or episode. All right. I'm Kamari Ellis. You'll notice that it's just me today, y'all. I kicked everybody out. And so now the cat's away, so the mice will play. But in all seriousness, Corey's traveling. Jimmy's sick. I'm a little sick. But guess what? The show must go on. So I didn't want to disappoint, so I'm on today. And I wanted to talk about this one thing that I've been getting a lot of questions about. Boycott. And I'm out to boycott and Target. I've actually got cussed out a couple of times over this, but I will break it down to you all. But I wanted to talk about the boycott today, what it means for us, what it doesn't mean for us, what's probably going to happen, and what's probably not going to happen. But as everybody comes in, be sure to come in. Let me know who's here. Let me know where you're hailing from and tell me what you think. Do you think boycotting Target is a great idea or not a great idea? But come on in. All right. Just getting all 10. I'm a little rusty by doing this by myself, y'all. Feeling a little out of place. But geez. Let's see here. Just getting used to this being all by myself thing. This is, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I'm just joking, y'all. I actually enjoy working with Jimmy and Corey immensely. I would about it at this point. I've loved it. All right, so I see Cedric's here. What up, Cedric? Don Johnson is in the building. All right, Don's here, so I know. Yo, I want y'all to know. So me and Don have been rocking for a while. We rock so much that Don actually trolls me off the show. And Don, I love it, by the way. But he sent me Umar memes. He'll send me Nate memes or Nate-ish memes. Like, he always got something popping. So shout out to Don. What up, bro? How you doing? Shabbat 05. Welcome. All right, so we're going to get this party started. All righty. So before we get into the main topic, I want to ask y'all a question. Have you ever thought about moving anywhere?
I'm moving to Africa, and if somebody want to see me, they can come see me. I'll fly back to see my parents, my grandparents, my family, but I am not going to bind myself to a country that doesn't give a damn about me so I can see my mom or grandma more often. I'm breaking this. We're getting out of here.
And I think that because of stories like yours, stories like mine, the stories of others who are getting, I call it the American plantation. That's what I call it. I was talking to someone, and they said, Jay, you have to remember, during slavery time, if people left the plantation, there was real danger outside of the plantation. So subconsciously, that fear and that mentality has been passed down
to
DNA. Many of us. Yeah, to say
it's in us. You know, that trauma that's in your DNA that gets passed down, that's real. That's not like a myth. We're only a couple hundred years away from enslavement, and just, in our lifetime, getting killed, hung, lynched, and can't eat at a counter with people. We have people in our families that experience that.
Absolutely.
So that's a reality.
And do you think that could contribute to the lack of wanting to travel outside of the block,
because they want to be on the block so bad. How hard do they fight to be in them neighborhoods with them whites?
Yeah.
So they're gonna leave to go to Africa. They spent years fighting, marching, and getting killed to live to buy houses in these neighborhoods, to go to these schools. So I'm never gonna downplay. I respect what our ancestors and the people before us did to make it easier or better for us to assimilate and be a part of America. And they had to go through so much. So I can understand where they're coming from. But me, I'm like, y'all did all that and then shit really changed. Yeah. I'm leaving.
Yeah,
they have lost their life.
So I think this conversation is a very nuanced conversation. But again, somebody sent me this. Y'all don't realize how much of the show programming is driven by people just sending us stuff. But I think these conversations are very, very much nuanced, because a lot of people think it's a bad thing to go travel. I know me personally, I want to be a global vagabond or digital nomad, right? There's so many things going on, so many crazy things. What the sister said, I appreciate everything the ancestors have fought for, done for us, but man, nothing has really changed. Not to be confused with, I'm recognizing that there has been some progress, but we see every day where police do something crazy, even people in our own community do something crazy, and they don't even appreciate what we've gone through during this time. So I thought this conversation was cool, and I wanted to check it out as well. Now I gotta go check this brother out because I want to watch the whole conversation. So he's J Cameron Official. I believe he has a YouTube channel. So everybody go check him out, show him some love as well. Y'all know I'm all about black love, black freedom. But I definitely wanted to talk about that. And I'm seeing some people have feelings about this boycotting thing already. Okay, all right, well, we're going to have a real good conversation tonight. Well, let's talk about it. I'm not even going to delay. Let's jump right into it. A lot of people were talking about Pastor Jamal Bryant, talking about his call for a 40-day boycott of Target or a 40-day Target fast. And I get why they use 40, because the number 40 is used so many times in the Bible, whether it's Jesus meditating or not meditating, Jesus fasting, or I'm messing it all up, but he was going into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, or the children of Israel going into the desert for 40 years. There's many other references of 40 in the Bible that are oftentimes talking about and come up over and over again. So I guess I get the symbolism of why Target 40 is the thing that he wanted to use as his thing. But let's talk about it.
Know who this is for, but
Wrong one. I got ahead of myself. Yeah. But we're going to watch that clip in a minute too. But this is the one I want to talk about.
I am calling the conscientious Christian community all over this country, the conscientious Christian community.
I have a question. He says he's calling on the conscientious Christian community. Well, if you're a follower of Christ, Christ was definitely conscious. Shouldn't everybody in a Christian community be conscientious? Just a question.
All over this country, I am calling for a 40-day fast from Target. Beginning on March the 5th. Go to targetfast.org. Targetfast.org. I am believing for 100,000 people are going to sign this covenant commitment of not just prayer, but fasting from Target. Here's what is amazing. Listen to me, because what we learned from the Montgomery Bus Boycott is that racist America doesn't respond to speeches. They respond to dollars. And if they start losing $29 million a day for 40 days, we will break the back of the system. I want to go on record that not only am I asking you to fast for 40 days from Target, I am telling you to sell all of your Target stock. I want the stock to go down because we are standing in righteous indignation against racism and sexism in this nation.
So what do y'all think about that? 40 days, 40 nights, Target stock, sales go down, stock price goes down. Do y'all think that's a good thing? Now, I mean, there's a couple of things that he brought up that I want to talk about, but I want to know, what do y'all think after watching that first go around? But before we get into it, I'm going to come back and see what everybody's saying. All right. Cedric says he's here. All right. I got the yellow before, but all right. Cedric says, I think extended/permanent boycotts work. Boycotting for a day or two doesn't work. You have an example of extended boycotts working in the last 50 years? Just curious. Howie G, what up, Howie? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know if I've ever seen you here, but welcome, welcome, welcome. Why do people keep talking about boycotts? They have nothing to replace what they want to destroy. All right. Don Johnson says boycotting is a thing of the past. We need more well-aimed collective economic movements. All right. I think about leaving all the time. Okay, so I'm not alone. All right, Howard G says, I couldn't leave the United States because other countries don't have a Second Amendment. Okay. It seems like it's funny, though, that the United States also has the most gun violence, even though we do have a Second Amendment right. All right. Now, Don says, but honestly, American blacks have just as much a right to this land as anyone else, if not more. Might develop sister feasibility. I don't know what you mean by the last part, but I got that. Oh, okay. But honestly, American black have just as much a right to this land as much as anyone else, if not more. I don't think anybody will disagree with that. But I'm curious, what would y'all have to say about Pastor Jamal Bryant? What do you think about his thoughts on his 40-day Target fast? All right, but let's run it back. Let's run it back, y'all. Let's see what...
I am calling the conscientious Christian community all over this country, the conscientious Christian community all over this country. I am calling for a 40-day fast from Target.
All right. So first things here, listen, no diss to Pastor Bryant. All right. He's got to rally the people up, get them together. They need a goal. I got it. But let's think warfare. Because black people are at war. I know a lot of times people don't want to say that. And I know I might get in trouble saying that. We've actually been getting attacked, monetizing on the channel. Me and Jimmy have. But nonetheless, if it's attack or plans, you're going to tell somebody when you're planning to strike. It's not a good plan. It's not going to be most effective. Why? Well, you let the person get prepared. They're going to brace. They're going to be ready to maneuver or block or parry or defend against said attack. But you've already announced your plans. I mean, that's one of the problems I do have. Even though we broadcast often a lot, I don't think we should be putting all our business online. Some of the things don't need to happen online at all. Most of the things need to happen offline, but again, that's a different conversation.
Beginning on March the 5th.
March the 5th, keep that in mind, March the 5th.
Go to targetfast.org. Targetfast.org. I am believing for 100,000 people are going to sign this covenant commitment of not just prayer, but fasting from Target. Here's what is amazing. Listen to me, because what we learned from the Montgomery Bus Boycott is that racist America doesn't respond to speeches. They respond to dollars.
They do respond. They do not respond to speeches. They do respond to dollars. But in what way? I don't know if that's the way we want to go about it, but let's keep going.
And if they start losing $29 million a day for
$29 million a day. So can somebody do the math for me? How many does Target get annually? Does anybody know? I mean, Target is a multi-billion dollar, billion with a B, billion-dollar company. So I'm wondering, is 29 million what they make annually? Excuse me, daily? I'm just going to throw it through good old Chat GPT. What is the average daily Target corporation revenue? What do y'all think? Y'all think that's right? Is it 29 million? Let's see. So, all right. Fiscal year end, January 31st, 2024. Target reported total revenue of $107 billion in revenue. This equates to an average daily revenue of about $294 million. So I guess he just wants to affect 10% of overall sales. All right, 10% of overall sales. All right. I need some kind of data to go along with stuff, y'all. I can't just be flying by the seat pants.
For 40 days, we will break the back of the system. I want to go on record that not only am I asking you to fast for 40 days from Target, I am telling you to sell all of your Target stock. I want the stock to go down because we are standing in righteous indignation against racism and sexism in this nation.
Well, I don't know what's going on with my thing. Let's run that back again. All right, so 29 million a day. 294 million a day is what they actually make. Over 40 days, that will equate to about $11.7 billion. Roughly 12 billion, let's round it up. So he wants Target to be impacted or have some kind of impact of that 12 billion that they would generate in sales across those 40 days. So again, number one, you announce when it's going to happen. It'd have been gangster to me like, listen, we are going to organize and we're going to be ready to strike at any given point, whether it's Target, Google, because Google just said they're reversing their DEI practices as well, or any other corporation who does not want to rock with black people, who does not want to hire black people. And we'll let you know. Stand by, stand ready. If y'all know what that's from, y'all get it. But it's no need in advertising that you want to take $12 billion out of the pockets of Target in advance. What would have more impact? To say, all right, day one, boom, we moving, let's go. You ain't got to talk about it, it's just done. And then you see that 12 billion disappear. What kind of impact would that have? Or would we just got to do everything for the look of it? I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think? Am I overlooking this, overthinking this, looking too deep into it? Or is it because I'm not a preacher? I just don't need. Help me, y'all. Help me understand this. All right. So again, we go back again.
I am calling the conscientious Christian community all over this country, the conscientious Christian community all over this country. I am calling for a 40-day fast from.
Now, I don't know if any of y'all have watched, like, Tabitha Brown. A lot of people were kind of mad at her because she said to people not to boycott. Just keep doing what you're doing. And there's a reason why this. And by the way, people have been mad at me over this. And just to give y'all some context, if y'all know me, y'all been rocking me for a while, y'all kind of already know how I feel about this. Because I've been talking about black business forever. You know why? Because I'm a product of black business. My father was a black business owner. Many of the other places that I worked through, matured through, got mentorship from were black-owned businesses. I thoroughly believe in the elevation of black-owned businesses. So y'all probably a little bit of a twist here, but look at this Facebook post that I found the other day that came from almost right. I'm just sharing this here. The Black community doesn't need to boycott anything. We need a lifestyle change. They are not the same. I'm gonna read that again. The Black community doesn't need to the Black community doesn't need to boycott anything. We need a lifestyle change. They are not the same. The question should now be, well, what's the difference? Boycotts, as said previously in this thread in the comments, they're temporary. You ever notice how none of the other ethnic groups announced they're going to boycott? They just tell you what it is, what they got a problem with, and then they keep it moving. We want to keep talking about it. You know, me and Jim, we bloviate. The Black community bloviates and talks about what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. It should just be, this is what it is. This is how it's going to be. Whether you like it or you don't. But we're moving on. And again, many times people want to bring up the past. And I love the past. I love history. History matters. It should be studied. One thing people always love to talk about, the Montgomery boycott, the Montgomery Bus Boycott. All right. Coretta Scott got locked up for sitting at the front of the bus. They didn't like it. They boycotted. Now, there's more history behind it too, but we're going to keep it condensed and short. All the leaders said, all right, we're going to boycott. Cool. What did the Black community do? They started caravanning, ride sharing, carpooling, all of this stuff in advance. Said, we're not buying nothing for them. This was over 50, 60, was it 70 years ago? Somebody check my math on that. But they were committed. I want to say it was 181 days. I want to say off the top of my head, it was 181 days that they boycotted. They stopped. They brought the bus system and the city of Montgomery to a halt. Why? Because that bus fed downtown. That bus fed heavy commerce areas in that city. So that brought it to a halt, okay? Because it took the legs out from it. It's 2025. What's going to take the legs away from Target? I mean, I don't know if y'all remember a couple years ago when everybody wanted to boycott what? The Super Bowl and the NFL because of Colin Kaepernick's wanting to bring exposure to police brutality by taking a nail. And a lot of Black people was like, people going to the Super Bowl, or I love my football. Some of them boycotted for a minute. Some of them are still actively not boycotting. Or actively not watching. But it's all but kind of forgotten. Everybody's kind of forgotten. Well, same thing as a boycott. After all these years, corporations study people. They spend billions of dollars every year without fail to study human psychology. Every year. They know how we're going to operate. We know for the most part, we are very short-sighted. We have short-term memory problems. Or that's just what human beings are. Flight or fight. We can only deal with it for a little bit in the moment. And then once it's done and we get to reset, we're good and we forget all about it. All is well. Same thing here. What we have to do, in my opinion, right? We need a lifestyle change. We can't wait for outside people to want to honor us, value us, revere us. Those days are over. We got to understand that we are great. That's it, period. That's all that matters. That's what other ethnic groups do. But for some reason, we feel like we have to say, if you don't treat us well, we're not going to do your stuff. How about just not go at all? I mean, that's how I feel. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I'm really interested to see how y'all feel about it. But what is the point of boycotting that? All right, let's say it's 12 billion that they lose. Do y'all not think Target has a 12 to sustain themselves over that so-called 40-day loss? Or is nobody not talking about this? Now, to be fair to Pastor Brian and his church, the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce is available as well, or getting involved as well. And they are saying, listen, it's not just about not shopping at Target. It's also about going to find other Black-owned businesses as well. But here's my thing. Shouldn't that be the only thing? Shouldn't that be the only directive? Or is that old saying real? Nobody cares about the carrot. They only care about the stick, right? Because the carrot, the carrot is stick. The carrot is favorable. It's rewarding. It's pleasurable. However, the stick is pain. Nobody gets movement from reward. Nobody gets movement from pleasure down that way. But everybody gets movement from pain. So then you got to ask yourself, maybe we need to readjust our lens on how we look at things. Does everything need to be a stick moment? Or does everything need to be a carrot moment? Or maybe we're not looking at it right altogether. But if our movement, right, because I say lifestyle, we need a new lifestyle. If our lifestyle is about Blackness, period, full stop, we don't need anybody to tell us to go find Black-owned businesses. We don't need anybody to say, I can't find a Black-owned business. I don't know where to go. Why? Because there's plenty of Black doctors. There's plenty of Black accountants and tax preparers. There's plenty of Black attorneys. There's plenty of Black real estate agents. There are plenty of Black insurance agents. There's plenty of Black, dentists. There's plenty of Black ophthalmologists, Black eye doctors, right? We all know there's plenty of Black-owned restaurants. There's plenty of Black barbershops and hair salons. And even now, we got folks selling weaves and hair products, and they're doing all kinds of skincare lines and all kinds of things. There's no reason why a large percentage of Black-owned dollars are not being spent with Black people and Black businesses from the Black community. But guess what? And I was trying to find this book the other day. I couldn't find it. If you go find a book called Our Black Here by Maggie Anderson, she would tell you that only about 2% of Black-owned dollars are spent with Black-owned businesses. To me, that's crazy. What does that tell you? There's not a real will from the people to say, all right, we're going to do something different. And so when I was getting into arguments about people, when they're like, stop worrying about Target. They don't need to worry about it, right? They can go on their own. However, what they're not factoring in is the history and the track record. Black folks historically do not wow, I'm messing this up, y'all. Black folks historically do not shop at Black-owned businesses. And I have a hard time saying that because it actually hurts my soul, hurts my heart. But we got to ask ourselves why. Do we really believe that white man's ice is colder? Or is there something else going on? Now, I did find this today, and I thought this was pretty cool. And I started to show this earlier, out of place.
Who this is for, but don't buy nothing else. Don't buy not one more thing. Don't buy nothing from the TikTok shop. Don't buy nothing from nobody's Amazon storefront. You don't need another faux olive tree for your bedroom. You don't need another pair of shoes that's a different color. You don't need no dimmable Amazon lights. You don't need no storage container. Don't buy nothing else. Don't nobody need nothing for Christmas. Kids don't need nothing. Grown folks don't need nothing. Everybody need a roof over their head, bills paid, warm food on the table, and love. Don't spend your money on nothing else. Go spend that money on stocks. Go invest in some stocks. Let me tell you something. My portfolio is up 241% as of today. And I got Bitcoin too. I got coins. Stop spending your money on crap. Invest your money in something that's going to retire you. This is not financial advice. This is game.
Now, if y'all know me, I've been saying the same damn thing for years. But she sounds way better than me. Clearly, she's way prettier than me, right? So I get it. People will listen to her more. It's getting way more traction. But that's really it, y'all. Take your money and buy assets, whether it's you're starting a business, whether it's you're buying stock, whether you're buying crypto. Excuse me, Jimmy would hate that I say crypto. Bitcoin, right? Because Jimmy does say I got to represent for Jimmy. Everything else is a shitcoin. All right. So, but when you think about this, one thing that she brought up is our overspending. Well, we're not overspending with Black-owned businesses. So who exactly are we overspending with? We're spending with other folks that are not Black. So we're giving all our power away to everybody outside of the Black community. But nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Every dollar that we spend is a bullet. And every time we give away our bullets to another army, it's a bullet they give. And we have to look at it like that. It is a war. All right. So, all right, I'm seeing Don Johnson has said he didn't disagree. All right, but I see you done said some other things. So, all right, let me go back and start from the top. All right, 29 million a day. All right. All right, still Ross is here. What up? What up? Welcome. Okay, Righteous says, Howie G, I was just thinking, who is still following pastors? There's a lot. It's funny. I had to go pull out a book I think everybody should read. Right, because a lot of what we're talking about today kind of came out of this playbook. And if you don't know what this is, that is Reverend Leon Sullivan. They call him the Lion of Judah. All right, he's a Black man, organized Black folks to put their money together to then buy and start Black-owned businesses, Black real estate. If you're familiar with Philadelphia, there is a place called Progress Plaza on Broad Street, right by Temple, that Reverend Sullivan started from that campaign he did in the 60s. All right. But there's something here that I read earlier, and I'm going to share with y'all in a minute, but I think it's interesting. All right, Don Johnson says, we will be better off boycotting our neighborhood corner store. Most don't have the capital to in long-term boycott. They close down their stores. We buy and open our own. All right. Boycotting at the end results, we are still in the same economic position. Don, sir. And that should really be the message. And I know, like I said, they are working with the Black Business Chamber, and I get it. But what's the point of this if we're not going to move our own needle? Let's say we even took 1 percentage point away from Target. Like I said, Target probably has a $12 billion line of credit. So will it really hurt them? Probably not. But let's say it was 1 percentage point. Is that a percentage point to our side? Or is it still on their side? Are people just going to stop going to Target and go to Walmart? Is that any better? Okay, what other competitor does Walmart have? Maybe they buy groceries online. Whole Foods, right? Which is owned by Amazon. And we see they're really not any better in terms of when we look at this overall thing in the big context of it. All right. how he's responding to righteous indignation. You still got quite a few otherwise the mega churches wouldn't still be here. All right, so Todd Johnson says, I disagree. Most black businesses won't continue run with. All right, so I be reading literally from y'all stuff, y'all. And listen, I be feeling for y'all because I get beat up by autocorrect. So I believe a lot of y'all get beat up by autocorrect too. All right, so Don Johnson says, I disagree. Most black businesses won't continue running with just black-owned money. Who do you see at the black book? Well, black folks. But the black bookstores, depending on where you're at, you see a mix of folks. So, all right, Howard G says, tax time is here. I'm willing to bet when those sales at these big box stores happen, large chunks of that money will be spent there. I don't necessarily disagree. Sadly, a lot of times when people get money in our communities, they go to big box stores and they spend a lot of it. So hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully people would know by now that that's a bad look. But I don't know. And since I do work in the tax base, by the way, anybody needs help with their taxes, hit me up. Kamari Yellis founded the Philly tax team. But most people, refund is a great thing. It's really not. But that's a whole other conversation. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Do we need another boycott? Do we need another way to think about this, or is what they did in 58 in Montgomery still the way to go? And again, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Hitting people in their pockets is where it's at. But at the same time, if you're going to hit somebody in their pocket, make sure that that hit is going into your pocket, not just for the sake of taking money out of their pocket. Now, again, I wanted to remember the date. Right, so I was wrong. I kept saying 58 for the Montgomery Bus Boycott. The bus boycott started December 5th, 1955, went to December 20th, 1956. Facts are important to me, y'all. It drives me crazy not to get them right. So y'all forgive me. All right. All right, so again, I'm interested to know what y'all think. What y'all think about this? Now, I know y'all might not like what I'm about to read to y'all, but this is from Bill Brother Bill. I think if anybody's really interested about creating and sustaining a real black, I don't even know how to say this, but let's just say a real black community that's self-sufficient, you got to read this book and you have to study the work of Reverend Leon Sullivan. All right. So in this spot here, it says, this is chapter 4, 10 feet tall, the program. He says this: the crucial key to the sources of our selective patronage program, y'all, were the colored preacher. Although he has been criticized by the non-churchgoers through the years for what has been called lack of leadership in the colored community, the fact is that without the influence he has exerted through the church, we black people would never have come as far as we have. What do y'all think about that? If this book was written, when was this book written? Bill, Brother Bill, when was this book written? Let's see. I need to find it. The reason why it's important to find, in my opinion, is because this book was written in 1969. The reason why it's important, in my opinion, is because the same thing they were saying in 1969 is the same things they're saying in 2025. Does anybody follow black preachers now? But then the question you have to ask yourself, why is it just black preachers, the ones that are shepherding and spearheading these things? And if that is the case, why aren't more of the parishioners putting pressure on the black preachers to talk to more economically understanding people? Not just popular people, but people who've done the work, understand the people, and understand the conditions. All right, so Howard G says boycott speeds up human job loss and automation replacement in 2025. You got a point. All right, Don says everyone needs to do the work within their four walls to build strong economic households, to build stronger communities. Don's on fire tonight, y'all. He's on fire. I would agree with that. Listen, if you don't have strong households, you'll never have strong neighborhoods. If you never have strong neighborhoods, you never have strong communities, right? If you don't have strong communities, it's really hard to have strong cities, say black cities, strong nations, all of that. It's really hard to do when you don't start at the basic building blocks. And I feel like a lot of people forget that a lot of times. But again, I want to know what y'all think. What do y'all see? How do y'all feel about this? Now, I'm not going to be here too long, all right? Because Jimmy's under the weather. I'm a little past under the weather, but still under the weather. I ain't supposed to be here, though. But, I wanted y'all to come here, and I didn't want to bring a program. But this is the Black Wolf Rebels. This is our weekly Wealthy Wednesday show. And I want to talk about this. What is it? Is it really important for us to boycott? Or is it really important for us to have a new lifestyle, a new economic lifestyle? Now, you can always find us over at blackwealthrebels.com. We have a community over there that we're building. Jimmy's on there several times a week, smacking up SPY, doing trades. I'm on there talking about stocks and taxes a lot of times over there. Corey's also doing a lot of trading as well. Y'all know every Sunday we do our money church where we're talking about getting to the money, right? Because here's the thing, and I talk to people all the time. Like, people want to argue about capitalism. Y'all heard me and Jimmy debate about capitalism and many others. If you don't like the term capitalism, fine. Here's the thing. We all need a way to build wealth or resources. Why? Because you cannot fund a revolution without resources, or you cannot fund a revolution without revenue. Whatever way you want to go at it, you're going to need money. You have to figure out a way to generate money. In my opinion, that's one of the biggest downfalls of the quote-unquote black civil rights movement, is that we never figured out that we also need to be making money. Every other organization or ethnic group has figured that out. So much so they will sometimes use illegal means to fund their own movements. Now, I'm not saying we do anything illegal. That's not what I'm saying, y'all. What I am saying, though, is look at the means of what people are doing to promote what's in their best interest. That's all I'm saying. And if you are not willing to at least look and see what people are doing, I don't think you're really serious about what's going on in the first place. But all right, before I get out of here, let's see. I think we got a couple other comments. All right, we got that one. What up, Drake? All right, Drake says boycotts work, but only if planning is done prior to launch. This time we got a warning shot in 2016. Did nothing. Then waited for Target to switch up and announced the boycott with zero plans for alternative retail, logistics, or warehouse options. Yes, boycotts work. Did you do that intentionally, or was that autocorrect? Let me know. Correct. That is correct. All right, Drake says, have a plan. We turn to Costco, another white company, to carry us. navigating the primary issue to build and support Black businesses. Excuse me, neglecting the primary issue to build and support Black business. And listen, I didn't necessarily have a problem with the Costco thing, even though I thought it was a little over the top. I get you want to support the person that's supporting you or the enemy, and my enemy is not my friend, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But to Dre's point, if this is really supposed to be about Black folks, why are we spending so much time on other people? Why do we spend so much time on their stuff? Why are we distracted? I mean, everybody always says we're so distracted. I mean, people have always been distracted, though. That's not new. That's not. All right. But again, no shade. I want to know, I'm really interested to see how many people enroll in the Target Fast, 40 days, 40 nights. How many of them stop going there and hopefully they go to Black-owned businesses that can fulfill the same need. That will be a win for me. But I have a feeling a lot of people are going to wheeze out after this, fizzle out after this, and after this good, feel-good Negro moment is over, it's going to be all forgotten about. And I really hate saying that. I do. Dre says, that's my point. The whole... All right, let me start this from the top. About the All right, Dre says, that's my point. Trading one pin for another won't get the hoe far. But the hoe's still gonna be a hoe, gonna be in that stroke. And that's sad. Miss Kiki Girl says, wait, there's a Target Fast? Yeah, supposedly, allegedly. That's what it's supposed to be. But I mean, I don't know. We shall see. All right, you just joined. Now, I forgot this one point. I want y'all to also realize this. I don't know, does anybody study branding? Well, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So every time we mention Target, even to increase the Target brand, the Target brand value, good or bad. So I want you to think about that. Why? Because it helps to increase the thought. You just help penetrate the name Target on people's minds for the next foreseeable future. That's the thing, y'all. Don't trust me? Go look up some of your branding specialists out there. They will tell you that. So again, when we're talking about these tools and these things that we want to do for Black wealth and so-called Black freedom and Black liberation, are they really achieving that goal? Now, who is little old me, but Kamari, to say these things? Nobody cares. That's why I don't have a big church, right? I'm just here talking. Pastor Brian has been around for a long time. People rock with him, been rocking with him for a long time. So I don't know if anybody's going to say, y'all should go talk to Kamari. He's been talking about Black wealth shit before y'all was even talking about Black wealth. Some of y'all before y'all was even preaching. He's got a track record of helping Black-owned businesses for free, right? Not for clout, but I'm just saying. And listen, somebody say that's self-aggrandizing, maybe, because I have been doing this work and I don't do it for pay. But what I would like to see is us like to do real stuff and like make real movements. But I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. Embargo Man. That's a fly name, by the way. Are any other companies quality without involving politics? I don't know, Embargo Man, but listen, every company involves in politics, right? That's why they all gave a bunch of money to Trump. So I don't know. All right. Shelby Martin says the way white people think is if black people say they're going to boycott, those white people will spend extra dollars there. All right. Where we at? There we go. Jamal the Weed Man Bryant. Oh, man. I had never heard that one before. What up? What up? What up? All right, just jumping on. All right, appreciate you getting on, brother. All right. I don't know what that means, but okay. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for jumping on. All right. Jamel says, Kamari, did you address the white folks down in Florida suing Target because the pension fund? You know what? I did see that. I didn't get a chance to look at it. I thought that was hilarious because Target stock has taken a hit. Excuse me. Sell their Target stock. I'm not telling nobody to sell their Target stock. Just not. If you understand how stocks work, that would be and let me just throw this up on the screen here. See what I'm talking about? I ain't keeping no secrets, as the young folks like to say. I ain't gatekeeping. But look at this here, right? So, stock price today down 39 cents. All right, pull this down. Anybody own Target stock? If y'all remember, if y'all watched Sunday, we actually called Target. All right, now that was the last 5 days is down 4%. The last month is down roughly 3%. Oh, over the last 6 months, it's up 1%. And over the last year, it's down 1.44%. What does that tell you? That tells you that stocks go up and down all the time. Again, if you've been rocking me for a while, I've talked about this a lot. What's the point of selling the stock unless you really want to sell it? One, it's going to be a tax problem 9 times out of 10. Two, you might take an unnecessarily loss. A lot of people, especially a lot of our seniors who need to be protected for retirement, need that money. And I know what somebody's going to say. Somebody's got to sacrifice in the movement. Yes, I get that. I get that. However, let's not act like everybody sacrifices the same level. And I don't think any elders should necessarily put their retirement in harm's way, because once they do that, then they potentially become a financial burden on their family and extended family. So we got to look at some of the repercussions of a lot of these things that we're asking for. All right, so let's see. All right, Embargo Man says, I don't give a shit about who owns the business as long as they have their own program of equality, not too involved in politics, but corporate. Okay. Okay. So what do you care about then? What up, Thunder? Yes, Walmart is on the same BS. Walmart's actually worse than Target, in my opinion, because a lot of their workers are really, really mistreated. All right, Thunder says, I don't have Target stock, but I will buy Ford stock for sure. All right. Now, I know I talked about Ford years and years ago, but I'm not on that right now. Good morning. Good evening. I'm about to say good morning. Hey, Freedom. Welcome. All right. But we were talking about the boycott. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it right? Is it wrong to boycott Target? Pastor Jamal Bryant has called for a 40-day fast to boycott Target. And so I just pointed out a couple things that I'll just have questions about. Number one, is it ever good to let your enemy know when you're going to strike? That's number one. Number two, is it ever good to let your enemy know how long you're going to attack? Like, is it supposed to happen for this period of time? So I'm only going to whoop on you for about 5 minutes and then I'm going to leave. I'm only going to whoop on you for about 40 days and then I'm going to leave. Is that really effective? Is that the most effective strategy? Now, Pastor Brian, because I watched, more of the coverage. I didn't share the whole thing with y'all. But he said he wanted to operate in decency and order. Why do we want to extend that level of grace to anybody that is not in good standings with the Black community? Why should we give them grace? They damn sure don't give us no grace. But I don't know. All right, so some chatter in the chat goes, Embargo Man, but you'll never have true equality if you don't have actual assets and leverage. That's a fact. There'll be nights when you shop there, but you're at their mercy once they switch up. Target just showed you that. That's a fact. But it wasn't just Target and Walmart. And I mean, there's a bunch of them. I've been covering this whole DEI shenanigan nonsense for a while, and it's not just them. We want to have an equal opportunity employment regardless of people's ethnicity, religious background, and so on. Listen, that's what everybody wants. That's what Black people want. But it never happens for Black people. My name is Kamari. I can tell you how many times my application has got pulled because they couldn't figure out what I was. And then they said, oh, he's not white. So they discarded me. And I've had to confirm about other HR people. So that's real. That's real. So, I mean, we can act like everything's equal footing. We can act like this whole DEI thing is not a spin job, a PR spin job, the same way they did woke, right? The white right, the white right, conservative right will spin job a thing in a minute. Woke, I mean, going on and on down the list. They will spend something quickly. Now DEI is incompetent, but everybody doesn't have that problem, right? Most Black folks have been raised and internalized that no matter what they do, they got to do it 3 to 10 times better than everybody else. We don't get to take days off. Everything about us for Black folks usually ties into labor. Our whole, how can I say this? Our value, a lot of times, is tied into the work that we do. And I know that's not just a Black thing, but that's especially a thing for Black folks. So, we can act like these things aren't real. And we can act like these folks don't take DEI. And I'm seeing Don Johnson's putting something in there. But Trump blamed DEI, the plane crashes on DEI. But I understand wasn't a Black person inside of that. But there we go. So where we at with this? Let me get caught back up. All right, got that. All right, Thunder says that's why I mentioned Ford. I've been rocking with you from way back. You told me dollar cost averaging. Thank you. Hey, listen. A lot of people jumped on Ford, made a boatload of money on Ford. Let me do this real quick. I don't want no smoke. All right. When I talk about stocks, right, it's for entertainment.
It's only entertainment.
It's only entertainment, y'all. All right, so keep that in mind. But yes, what Thunder was saying was dollar cost averaging. A lot of people can make a boatload of money off dollar cost averaging, taking $1, $5, buying into a stock through what they call fractional shares, and just buying it and sitting on it and let it rock until you build up a next little nest egg, and then you can move on to the next thing, and you can learn and go to the next level. But I always get a little trepidations because I don't feel people do enough research. Don't just get on here and take what I say or Jimmy or Corey what we say. We want y'all to do the research. As Jimmy loves to say, do the knowledge. Do the knowledge. All right, but yes, Thunder says that's why I mentioned Ford. I've been rocking with you for way back. You told me dollar cost averaging and being consistent. I was buying Ford when it was about $3, and I made a killing with it. My man, you just made my day. Because some days, I'll be honest, I'll be like, is anybody listening? No, thank you for listening and taking it and trusting me with what I've been bringing to you guys. So thank you. All righty. So let's see what else we got. All right, Don, I saw you made some comments about DEI. I'm coming to those in 1 second. All right, got that. Jigga says, all right, how can we realistically boycott a place you have to travel miles to? Their real estate ain't in the hood for a reason. Wow. I don't want to skip over that. So it's not just about being in the hood, right? It's also about where Black folks spend Black dollars. It's not always in the hood. I mean, I know Jimmy always makes the joke that I don't live in the city, right? But the area I live in, the property values where I live are lower than the property values where Jimmy lives. So does it really matter? Yes, I don't live inside the city of Philadelphia. But guess what? I do now own property in the city of Philadelphia. So what difference does it make? I couldn't send my children to those schools. That was something I had to deal with a while ago. But in terms of traveling, here's the thing, right? Because I hear people say it's always going to come down to convenience. And it really is. It's going to come down to convenience. So, however, you also want to put a priority on those things and people and businesses that support you. And those tend to be those things, people and things that are from you. I mean, that's usually what the stats say. That's all I got. All right, so Embargo Man says, now there are other companies that say the 737 MAX is designed by Black people to blame Black people for being Boeing flaws. Excuse me, let me read this right. To say the 737 MAX is designed by Black people to blame Black people for Boeing's flaws. Yeah, they will say that, but how many checks and balances have to go through for anything to be done? The whole thing with Boeing, that was crazy with all of their flaws. So you can't just blame that. That was their Q&A. But people will take that, they will run with it, and they will agree with it, no matter how stupid it sounds. Sadly. All right, Don Johnson says, why are Black people the only ones fighting this DEI fight? The same reason Black people are always the ones fighting for equality, always. And I recognize your what's the word I'm looking for there? Oh man, I'm tired, y'all. What's the word I'm looking for, y'all? He's being what's the word I'm looking for? He's being funny. That's not the word, but he's being funny. All right, Drake says it's always a hoax. They came up with it to stop you from rioting. Look at it, the timeline. That is correct. And listen, I ain't got to look it up. I know exactly what you're talking about. When everything went down with George Floyd in Minnesota, Target is where? Where is Target headquarters? Anybody tell me? I'm just doing this just to fact check myself. Right. Somebody tell me where Target's headquarters were. Tell me where major rioting was happening. And by the way, context. Many of the riots were not ensued by people who were demonstrating. They were usually done by outside people agitating what was going on. But that was George Floyd, I want to say was 2021, or was it 2020? I gotta look, y'all. I'm getting old. I was getting old. Right, 2020, right at the start of COVID. So the timing was crazy. And so folks were like, the blackies are going to burn my shit down. And so they said, all right, we are going to start doing these initiatives. And a lot of them did come through and they did do some things. But now they're like, okay, this feel-good Negro moment is now over. And they got a new sheriff in town who only cares about the Proud Boys. So that's all we got to talk about. That's all we got to worry about. So it started around 2020, let's say June, July, I would say September. I think it started around there. But you're right. When you look at that timeline, you're correct. Jigga says, and why the boycott now? When the most common saying is Target is too expensive. I walk in to get one thing and come out spending $200. That's funny. Don Johnson says because DEI isn't black. Correct. It's a lot of things. It's not just black. It is a lot of that. DEI equals WW. WW stands for white women. All right, Embargo Man says Chris Rock should make a movie based on Carlos Goins, but instead of Japan, it should be in the U.S. to say Carlos Guzin. And I'm saying Carlos Guzin's name wrong. Well, who he's talking about is this guy who's a CEO of Nissan and Renault. I want to say Renault, who like got away with like the greatest amount of money. He was like one of the greatest grifters ever. But he did of Nissan, the CEO of Renault, the car companies. He was jet setting all across the world, doing all kinds of things, and then just wasting all the money. But nobody ever called that DEI or corporate theft or tried to label any of that. So good point. Good point. By the way, you reminded me, I never watched that documentary. I have to go back and check that out. All right, Thunder says we have to be 10 times better. Look at boxes back in the day. You ever wonder why they were KOing folks back then? Because if it went to the judges, they would pencil whoop them. Can't argue a KO. Correct. That is a fact. Oh, there it is, right. The former black CEO of IS-based auto manufacturer. I don't know what you mean by IS. But yeah. And it was crazy. All right. Dre Arden, thank you for the super chat, brother. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Every dollar comes in and goes to either the Bitcoin rounds or us creating more ways for us to bring y'all more information and better information to y'all. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, Dre says, I'm buying my next car on dollar cost averaging because of people like you. Oh, I have a quarter of it. Wait a minute. I got a quarter of it so far. They're helping me pay for it. Toyota stock. My man. I wanna read this again. Y'all making my day today. And this week has been rough. I was down, but man, this is why I don't like missing. All right, Dre says, I'm buying my next car on dollar cost averaging because of people like you, people like me, Kamari. I have a quarter of it so far. They're helping me pay for it. Toyota stock. Listen, that is a wonderful strategy for financing your next car. So basically what he's doing is he says, forget the banks. I'm going to save for it and invest for it and build it up on my own. I'm going to use the stock market to help me build, to get another asset for a car, whatever reason, whether it's business or personal, it's still an asset, right? He needed to get around and do whatever he needed to do. So that's dope. That's dope. And it takes a lot of patience and focus and stick-to-itiveness, but that's what it takes, right? Consistently, right? Working at a thing. So that's great. That's great. So, all right. So here's something else I'm gonna share with y'all, and this is a little bit of personal information. I always chuckle. Say there are people who have named their kids after me. And listen, there's no funny business going on. I ain't got with nobody's lady. But some of my friends have children that they named after me, and I find it a great honor. But then tonight, I just found that an old client, the guy with a friend of mine, I had no way of connecting them. They found each other on their own. And they named a child. I won't say they named that because they changed the naming of it. But the saying of it is the same as Kamari. So that's an honor. So I was honored by that today when I got that news. I'm honored by this today. Like, those things go so far, you don't understand. Y'all don't even know what things mean to me. Now, let me. If I could find this real quick. See if I can find this real quick. Just bear with me 1 second, y'all. Un momento. Now, if you follow me on my Facebook page and all, y'all know I share a lot of different things on there. I get in trouble on there for sharing some things because the powers that be don't like it. Sometimes I get in trouble for sharing copyrighted material. That's never. I'm trying to find where this organization is being made a historic landmark. And I just want to share this with y'all if I can find it. I'm not finding it though, but I can find it quickly. Sometimes I forget how much stuff I just actually share also. And then so yeah. All right, let's see. I got 15 seconds. Can I find it? Can I find it? I found it. I found it. All right, so check this out, y'all. I wanted to share with this. So this is one of my most proudest moments. And it's not something I got paid for, right? It's something that I did working with other Black people to help other Black people. Is that shocking or what? So check this out. This. All right, so right here it says Philadelphia's oldest Black bookstore, established in the 1950s, has officially been granted historical marker status. Hakeem's Bookstore. All right. So the lady in that picture is Hakeem's daughter. That's Miss Yvonne. The reason why, for me, this is so important to me is this lady was thinking about going out of business. And what happened was myself, and it wasn't just me, myself and other Black folks came together and said, let's stop this business from going out of business. We did what's called a cash mob. The cash mob was so successful that it got help from the Inquirer and other people I don't know. I believe the Roots was involved. Maybe if I could find that article, I'll share it with y'all one day. But this encouraged her to not go out of business. This kept her going. And so out of all this stuff online and all this stuff, the things for me that were super important were the real stuff in real life. The stuff where I get to meet people in real life. And this is an example of doing stuff in real life, because that's where it really matters. So I just wanted to share this with y'all. All right. All right. So enough about me. What we got here? All right. So again, Drake, thank you for that super chat. Right, facetious. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Yeah. All right. Y'all came to the rescue. Appreciate y'all. Yo, what's up, bro? I ain't seen you in a while. All right. The financial role of DEI would not matter if Black America would do circular economics with Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and we hire our own people. I would agree. I would agree. All right. So Bargain was answering the question that I asked, where is Target headquartered? In Minnesota. Where were a lot of the riots? Minnesota. Right? So when they said check the timeline, that's important. You got to check timelines, right? Minnesota. LA, Oakland shot, right? That's where a lot of the riots that happened, right? All right, so Thunder says, in my opinion, when we were locked out and left alone and worked amongst ourselves, we did wonders. And now with social media and UPS, we can make Black Wall Street again. So I have problems with that. So they never left us alone. Tulsa is a great example of that. Because if they really left us alone, Tulsa would have never happened. If they never really left us alone, Rose would have never happened. Chicago, like, yes, if you ever look at the Chicago stories, like where there was a race riot because Black people got into, oh man, what is the lake in Chicago? What is the Great Lake in Chicago? I'm forgetting all my stuff today, y'all. I need to know this. And so this will tell you, I didn't really prepare outside of talking about Pastor Bryant. But I didn't prepare. I'm just talking with y'all now. What Great Lake is that? That's right, Lake Michigan. I should have known that. But they emptied they had a whole riot over Black people swimming in Lake Michigan. Right? So it's never been that easy for us to just do our own thing. It's always been nuanced. It's always been crazy, right? Because it makes no sense. Racism makes no sense. But when you really look at racism and what it is, racism was created from classism. Nobody really likes to talk about that anymore now. Some people will say they're separate. They're not. Classism created racism to do what? Protect classism. So that's why the rich and racism are always inextricably linked. Right? So, but you always have to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But yes, we should definitely focus on our own and making our own good and great again. But I don't know if people really want that. I think they just want money for the sake of money. Well, I'm assuming you're talking about COVID and the timing with George Floyd. Yes, the timing was crazy. Felipe says our biggest problem is that we don't have enough business and strong enough businesses to employ our own people. That's one of the problems. What the biggest? I don't know. I don't like attaching. We got so many problems, man. But yeah, it can be a problem. It can be a problem. All right. Better off those small mom and pop to say to support local businesses. Well, listen, I don't have a problem with that either. And remember, a lot of those folks were newly emancipated or children of them and built something great. We have no excuse. We gave the blueprint. We were given the blueprint. Let's build and let's start at home. Again, I would agree. I would agree. But if that was the case, why are more people thinking about this? I mean, it's not like this hasn't been talked about. I didn't invent this stuff. I'm not the genius. Right? All right. Boycotts don't work against multinational publicly traded companies anymore. Not in that way. I would say also look up Reverend Leon Sullivan as well. Y'all been hearing a lot about South Africa. Look at who helped devise the whole divestiture from South Africa and who helped with that. I'll give you a little clue. One of the names you will see is Reverend Dr. Leon Sullivan. So, okay, so I didn't see that angle, but I know he had a lot of problems, but he also did a lot of janky stuff though. But Dana's in the building. What up? What up? What up? What up? Yeah. Listen, I'm not really a car person, but I wouldn't mind having something nice and plush to ride around with. I mean, I think I would like to have a driver one day. I feel like I'm getting too old to drive, y'all. So maybe I can start dollar cost averaging. I can buy a car and get enough to hire a driver. I wonder how much that'd be. How much would it cost for me to pay a driver to drive my car around? Is that something we can do? All right. Yep, I think it's a great idea. All right, just imagine a black CEO of General Motors Chrysler could be the same situation as a Carlos Ghosn in Japan with Nissan. That's how he was treated. Yeah, but I think that might be an oversimplification. And I remember reading about it. I need to go back and refresh it, and I will do that. All right, $300 a month. All right, so Dre is dollar cost averaging into Toyota stock at a tune of $300 a month. Whether the stock is up, whether the stock is down, it doesn't matter. He's committed to $300 a month. That is dollar cost averaging in a nutshell, y'all. So that's $3,600 for the year. And let's see. I wonder how much has Toyota typically going up or down over the years. Anybody got a guess on that? Let's see. Now, Toyota's been around for a long time. So what is the average? So I'm going to my trusty Chatty G. And if y'all don't know who Chatty G is my homie, my BFF. Chat GPT. Now, just to be clear, Chatty G is not always right. So you got to know when they're not right and you can't trust it. I don't trust it. But for certain things, I will do a quick lookup because it's referencing the internet a lot of times anyway. So what is the average stock return of Toyota stock over the last 50 years? All right. What does it say? For some reason, my mic keeps cutting out. I don't know if it's my internet. Somebody called me. They said I had janky internet before, but I have the highest data package, and I'm plugged in to the landline or an Ethernet connection. So let's see. All right, so I put it in, and it gave me an interesting kickback. All right. All right, so let me blow this up a little bit because I can't read it and I don't have my glasses. All right, so determining the exact average annual return of Toyota Motor Corporation's stock over the last 50 years is challenging due to limited comprehensive data spanning the entire period. However, available data provides the insights into the stock's performance over shorter durations. 5-year period, 34.62%. That's what it's done, by the way. Y'all see that car, CAGR? We talked about that. We did a whole show on that. If y'all haven't watched it, make sure y'all do the knowledge and y'all go watch that show. All right, the 10-year is 44.46%. So the car will be roughly 4% a year, roughly. All right, over the last 4.7%. So we can say what Dre is going to do on average, we can expect that his $300, his $3,600 for the year, will help him build an extra 5%, a year on what he's doing. So if he puts $3,600 in, he's going to get another $300+ a year to go towards his vehicle purchase. He said he was a quarter way there. I'm just going to say a brand new Toyota. And by the way, so y'all know my dad passed, right? My dad was a Toyota man. Now I'm not really a Toyota man, but I'm kind of becoming a Toyota man. And I rented a Toyota Camry, a Toyota. So impressed by this thing, I'm thinking about buying a Corolla. It was awesome. It was awesome. So that's why I brought all that in. But right, maybe I might take Dre's same strategy and do the same thing. I'll create a fund. I'll put a couple bucks in it every month to just build out for what I want to buy, because I do want to buy some brand new cash. Right? I'm not a big person for buying cars. Now, I know I mentioned earlier something nice, but what I also want is something nice that doesn't have a whole lot of payments attached to it that I got to worry about. So maybe I'll look at, let's see, the Corolla I was looking about. Let's see. So Toyota, let's see. Dre, I might just jack your whole style, bro. I ain't even lying, man, but I will give you full credit for it, though. I will give you all the credit. And I think it's called a crossover. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Was it a hybrid? I mean, that thing had great gas. Oh, here it is. All right, so here it is. I got it here. I'll share it with y'all. Let me see. Share this tab. Of course, they're asking me for the cookies. I gotta wipe those out soon. All right, so I don't want all this. I want the chat. So that's what I was thinking about. It's a Corolla. It's a Corolla Cross. All right, so pre-owned is let's say 27,978, and it's pre-owned. I wonder how much it is brand new, brand spanking new. That's what I'm interested in. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing because this is not a Toyota dealership. All right. Well, let's say it's 30 grand. So maybe I probably wouldn't buy Toyota stock, but maybe I would buy the S&P 500 because can I find it? For the S&P, hold on, I'm doing something, y'all. I'm cooking. Here I come. Now, all right. So remember, I was saying that on average, Toyota was giving somewhere between 4 to 5%. On average, S&P 500 is doing about 10 to 11%. So Dre, you might want just a thought. Still take the idea of dollar cost averaging, but maybe use a different vehicle to achieve your goal much faster. Let's see. Where are we at? All right, for context, the S&P 500 is priced 600, slightly reflecting a slight increase of 4% for previous close. Okay. So I'm going to ask Chatty G. So I am dollar cost averaging. I can't spell, y'all. So I'm dollar cost averaging into Toyota stock at the tune of $300 a month to save up so I can buy a brand new. By the way, Dre, I'm sorry, I kind of hijacked this for you. So I can buy a brand new Toyota, all cash. Right, so that's a solid strategy. Dollar cost averaging Toyota stock could help you build up your investment over time while potentially building your stock appreciation and dividends. Would you like help tracking your progress or estimating how long it might take based on historical average? How long would it take? And yes, I'm asking how long would it take? So it would take approximately nine years to reach your goal of 40,000, assuming Toyota stocks continues to grow at a historic 4.7 annual rate, and you consistently invest $300 per month. Would you like to explore different scenarios, such as increasing your monthly contribution or adjusting your target amount? No. What would happen? Changed my investment to SPY. See, I like to talk to this thing. I don't believe that AI is going to ruin everything, but it's going to fuck some stuff up. And if you're not ready for it, then oh boy. All right. If you switched your investments to the S&P 500 SPY, it will take approximately 7 years and 9 months. Well, it takes about a year off to reach your $40,000 goal, assuming the index continues to grow at its historical 9% annual rate, and you consistently invest $300 a month. That is 1 year and 3 months faster than investing in Toyota stock. All right, so Dre, let me know that helped. I don't know if I'm wasting everybody's time watching this, but let me know if that helps. Let's get to the rest of these chats, because I ain't ate dinner. Y'all know how I feel about eating my dinner. I need my vittles. I need my vittles. All right, so, all right, let's see. Give me 1 second. And for the record, I truly appreciate y'all. I do. Y'all don't know how much I appreciate y'all, but I do. All right, so listen. All right, yes, everyone needs equal opportunity. Too bad the president doesn't feel that way, but you know, it is what it is. And I mean, I think that's been known. That's been a known fact. So the people that voted for him knew he didn't believe in equal opportunity either. So, right, Lake Michigan, that's right. All right, all right. All right. Like I said, we'll check it out. All right. Drake says 1919 Lake Michigan race riot. A black girl was swimming and a white man threw rocks at her. It's crazy. Like, it's 2025, and while we might be evacuated out of Lake Michigan, but this stuff is not super far-fetched to even see happen these days. All right, question, Thunder. Is it true that only 4% of DEI were Black Americans? Probably. All right, so play after the U.S. market, late 60s. All right. What up, Anthony? All right, Thunder says, I'll do it for a Philly cheesesteak and a Dr. Pepper. But I have to wear a suit, hat, and gloves. I'm going to charge extra. That will be 2 Philly cheesesteaks. I'll even do jazz hands with the white gloves. Oh, you're hilarious. God rest his soul. I'm not sure you're talking about the guy that rest his soul, but Trader Goated. What up? All right, Toyota's nice, bro. My new car only costs $350 a month. So are we talking the same one? You got the Cross too? Are you talking about the Cross? Oh, you might be on the same vibe. Yeah, he might have. I don't even want to say his name. I get 55 miles to the gallon at the 22 gallons. Man, that's beautiful. I'm not going to say that, but I heard you. Listen, they trying to get our channels out of here, bro. All right, Dina says I pay cash for my car because Dina be in there trading like. Gotta be smart though. If you tell them you're paying cash, they charge more because they won't get the kickback for finance. That is a fact. All right, Margaret, nice talking to you as well. Come back. And I'm going to look up Carlos Ghosn. deeper. All right. All right, Anthony says boycotts don't necessarily work now unless we all go in like Birmingham bus boycott and maintain it over a year. Well, I talked about that. I think it has to be even longer than that. And so you can't have an end date on there. So it means it has to go forever, or at least has the potential of going forever. All right, I got zero interest during COVID, paying it slow. All right, I ain't mad at that. All right, Dina says, I told them that I was putting half down, paid the rest off on my first payment. Yo, I don't know. I'm so excited. Like, Jimmy always makes fun of me. I tell people all the time, the first rule of finance, and I'm a finance major, cash is king. A lot of people hate that. But the possibilities you have when you have cash is limitless. And yes, some people are like, well, I can put it in the market. You can. But guess what? You know that quote they always say that they give Warren Buffett credit for, but it's really a Rothschild quote, buy when there's blood on the street. Well, if you got cash, you can buy fast. Now, sure, you can transfer things over real quick. You can do that as well these days. It's not the same as it was back in the day. But the idea is that if you have enough cash, you can buy assets on the cheap, whenever. Have it. Man, Dre, I appreciate that. Another super chat for $5. I appreciate that. All right, wait a minute. I've been on almost tapped. I didn't realize I was on the slog, y'all. I'm doing the same thing with REITs for my house down pay. Listen, I love that. Now, are you trying to buy the house cash? Curious minds want to know. All right, Rebecca Man says goodbye. All you folks, keep talking and keeping us doing the good work. Thank you for joining us. That's a nice one. Trader Good, but you're forgetting the boycott that Toyota can make you more money. All right, I'm not sure about which way you mean that, Trader Good. All right, Bogger Man, hit the. Oh, I got you. If you use it for deliveries as a side gig, then invest in spot. Yeah, I didn't want to get too deep into that, but you're right. You can also write it off from taxes if you use it as a business, for a business. There's no denying that. I've never been to people that say everybody starts a business. For example, I was going to do a video today. I saw somebody say that if you know what language Trump speaks, he speaks business. And so you should start a business. Well, I actually hate that idea. And a lot of people say everybody should start a business. I will be the first to admit the cheat code, the tax code is there to help people leverage money and assets. And if you utilize the tax code, it will tell you how to make money. However, and again, one of the biggest of the tax code is business and real estate investments. However, everybody doesn't have what it takes to be a business owner. Everybody doesn't have the gumption that it takes, the stick-to-itness, the fortitude to be a business owner. And this is no knock, right? Sometimes you can think a thing is going to work out and it starts out great. You're doing good for a year or two, and then it just tanks because you got to figure something out. But at the end of the day, you still got bills to pay. You got kids. You got other things to do. And it's hard for some people to say, I'm just going to focus on this. So that's why I say, it all depends. It all depends. But I don't necessarily say everybody should be a business owner. Because guess what? Even if you are a business owner, let me back up. Even if you are a 9-to-5 employee, you can start getting advantage of the tax code. You can start buying businesses using your money that you make on your job, right? It's the same thing when you're buying stocks, right? You're buying a piece of a business. You're just not the one running it day to day. So, again, I don't really go for that. All right. Drake says, it sure did help, because I didn't even think that deeply. I just knew it's a good stock, and if I don't lock it in an investment, I'll spend it. Okay, fair enough. And I'll be screwed by financing when I do try to buy a car. Smart man. It's funny, y'all. A lot of times we want to put this extracurricular analysis on things, and most things don't got to be that deep. They really don't. No, not the cross. Okay. Yes, I got the cross. Well, I saw the cross. I rented it, and I was like, whoa. Mr. About That Wallet. Oh, the Highlander is nice. All right. Well, let's run the analysis for how. It's a shame that I call ChatGPT my bestie. Okay, just the down payment. Oh, you probably got it already. Depending on how much of a down payment you want, though. All right, Anthony says, when should someone shut down their business if it's not making money? That's a trick question. Because it depends. Because different people go through different seasons. Different businesses go through different seasons. I mean, Amazon wasn't profitable for at least 10 years. Should Jeff Bezos, should he have shut it down? I know everybody likes to talk about Amazon doesn't pay any money on taxes. It's because they didn't have any quote unquote profits. Doesn't mean he wasn't bringing money in though. Bringing money in and profit and cash flow are two different things. But that's where understanding accounting, do anything involving building wealth. But I would say it would depend, Anthony, to answer your question. It would depend on when someone needs it. Maybe they never shut their business. Maybe they go and get a job and make their business the side hustle temporarily, just so they can keep it going. But it really depends. I would ask, what is your why when you first got into the business first? And I know I'm not really answering your question because it's not a flat out yes or no answer from my experience. But I've seen people have, I'll say this, I've seen people have 5 straight years of negative growth where they just barely made enough to put food on the table, barely. And then in the 5th year, they made 50 grand. And then in the 6th year, they made 275. And then in the 7th year, they did like 900,000-ish. And then in that 8th or 9th year, I lost count, but it was like 1.4 million-ish. So it all depends on what you got going on. All right. All right. Thunder says, thanks to you. I'm in a good position where no time soon I'll have to go and tell Natalie listen, y'all are killing me. Thanks to you, I'm in a good position where no time soon I'll have to go and tell Natalie I'm in a bind, Natalie. No Geritol, multivitamin or Metamucil. And then I'm cracking up at y'all. In the near future, no Matlock reruns from me. All right, shout outs to you. All right, to save extra cash, I was stacking silver and I turned it into a down payment for some property. That is dope. All right, equals down payment to the stock equals buy car cash. Oh, okay. All right. All right, speaking of ChatGPT, I sent my sister-in-law a business plan for her medical carrier business. it is best to use AI to get used to by it. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's what I do. I probably talk to it daily. And that's no BS, y'all. All right. I just realized I've been on for y'all for an hour and 50 minutes. I thought I was coming on for like 15 minutes. All right, but like I said, y'all can find us, Black Wealth Rebels. That's where we got everything at. We got free tiers. We got a $7 tier, $14 tiers, $56 tiers. Listen, but the whole thing isn't about money. It is about community and how we can help one another make more money and more money, not just through our stock picks or our options picks, but also how can we leverage and learn how to use the tax code more efficiently? How can we leverage and use some business? Because I have some other things coming behind the what we call in the village, or as I like to say, behind the wall, that are coming soon as well. So I suggest all of y'all, before YouTube kicks us off, y'all should go on over and subscribe to the Black Wealth Rebels now before they get rid of us, so that way we can always stay locked in. And you ain't got to spend money. You can get the free tier, y'all. So that's how committed we are to you and the community. So again, thank you all tonight, and we will be back soon. I'm not sure if we are on for Friday giveaway. So we're going to figure something out. So don't forget about that. Our Bitcoin giveaway is this Friday. But we will see you all soon. Y'all be great and have a great day. Bye-bye.